All right, y'all. It is time to shine. It is time to shine. I'm your host, Julian Smartrimple here, King Jewelz, ready, locked, and loaded for another very special edition of the RTJ show and also vidcast series. Thank you all podcast listeners who are tuning in for today's episode. You are in for a treat. If this is your first time rocking with us, shout out to our wisdom listeners who are listening in for this exclusive behind the scenes episode that we are recording today. But if this is your first time joining us, just to let you know about our brand, the RTJ Lifestyle Show was created to spread inspiration to young professionals and millennial entrepreneurs who want to learn wisdom on how to shine brighter in their careers or their businesses. And so if you are a business owner, if you are a young professional, especially that we literally host a lot of young professionals that are millennials and Gen Zers. But even if you are a baby boomer, we still have love for you. And we also want you to be able to shine bright like the bright diamond jewel you've been created to be. And so definitely thank you for tracking with us for today's episode. If you're interested in being one of our VIP guests on the podcast, fill out the interest form that we're putting in the comment section below. We've already had a ton of dynamic kings and queens that are entrepreneurs and young professionals come on and share their jewels of wisdom with you all for this season. And so shout out to all of our VIP guests. But if this is you, if you are a king or a queen that has a business, service, and also that you are confident in your profession, we want to see if you have what it takes to be one of our guests on our show, and one of our team members will comb through your application and see if you are to be a guest on our show. Also, listen to us on all podcast streaming platforms that you stream your favorite podcasts or music artists. Literally, you can go and search for the Run the Jewelz podcast, and you'll see our cover art with my face, hosted by Julian Smartrimple. And you can listen to some of our episodes from season 1, you all the way now to season 4. And so we've been putting in work over the last 4 seasons, and we are locked and loaded to finish off this season strong. But you can go and track with us to see our beginnings, our early start, and our early beginnings, and how we've morphed, especially into being an international podcast show. And we're even transitioning to be leisure and also travel lifestyle podcast show in the future. And so stay tuned for some of those updates. But without further ado, those are all of my housekeeping for today's episode. If at any time you have any questions for my very special guest that I'm getting ready to bring on the stage, make sure you list them in the comment section below, and we'll do our best to answer any questions that you may have, because this is an interactive podcast show. And so we want to hear from you all, not just from me. I'm just the host, but even for our wisdom listeners who are listening in live right now, feel free to come on to the stage if you have any questions for my VIP guest, and we'll answer them shortly. And so without further ado, we're going to get ready to bring on my very special VIP guest. She goes by the name of Ziggy Warfield. I met this queen by way of her phenomenal business, and also her phenomenal series that she puts together, which I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about here in the metropolitan area of Atlanta, in Gwinnett County specifically. And so I met this queen, and seeing what she's doing all throughout the community here in Atlanta. And she's a businesswoman. She's definitely an innovator and loves to bring communities together by her expertise. And so I'm going to let her tell you about her business, and also her main project that she does so many great things for the Atlanta community and even out of towners during each and every year. She's going to be talking to us about welcoming you all to the Jazz in the Alley series. When it comes to being in Atlanta, this is one of the premier events that you definitely have to go and check out. And so I'm going to get ready to bring on my very special guest, Miss Ziggy Warfield. Ziggy, how you doing today?
Hello, everyone. Hi, Julian. I'm going to call you King Jewelz.
I appreciate it.
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. We thank you again for coming on and sharing the jewels with us today, Ziggy. How we usually start off our episodes is let people know, Ziggy, where you're originally from,
Okay.
also where you're tuning in from today for today's episode, and why this is an important subject for you to discuss and to also share with our audience today.
Okay, awesome. Well, I am a Georgia peach. I was born and raised, well, I was born in Atlanta, but raised in Lithonia, Georgia, East Side. And I currently reside in Cobb County. Um, being on your show today is important for me because I'm able to be able to spread the word about Jazz in the Alley. I just want everyone to come and just enjoy this great experience. I call it the JITA experience. So JITA stands for Jazz in the Alley. So I just want people of all ages and races to come and enjoy some great live jazz music.
I love it. I love it. Definitely shout out to all the Jitter fans. I know I'm a follower and also subscriber, and definitely support Ziggy and all that she's doing here, especially in Atlanta. And Ziggy, like, talk to us for those who are tuning in, like how we got to start from the basement and the bottom, as they say. Like, how did you even get into jazz and being a connoisseur and even a lover of jazz? Was it something that your parents were playing in the house? Did you grow up around jazz musicians? Like, how did you get into your love for jazz? Let's start there.
Well, my love for jazz is the arts. I consider myself an artist. I love to create and I love the arts. So I love the arts ever since I was a young girl. And and a lot of it is stemming from my parents. My parents are love of arts as well. When I was young, we would always go to the different art festivals, like the Dogwood Festival, the Atlanta Art Festival, and they're collectors of artwork as well. So if you were ever a guest in my parents home, you would just see artwork everywhere. And so I just love to create. And so anything that allows a person to allow a person to be creative, I just love it. So I love music, I love dance, I love what else is there? Fashion. I love theater. I love acting, movies, anything that allows a person to be creative and create. I just love. And so I create myself. So back in the day, I was into poetry. Um, I took a pottery class. I like to paint. I like to dance. I've acted. I've done a little bit of everything. So that's where my love for music stems from because I'm just an artist myself and I love to create. And not only that, my parents played all kinds of music as well. And jazz was one of those genres of music that they played a lot. And so I was just attracted to it. I love all styles of music, but I'm more attracted to, like your jazz, neo soul type of music. But I love all genres of music. How Jazz in the Alley came about is it's a long story, but I'm gonna try to give you the short version. So I met this young lady, and she's an artist herself, and she was performing, and so I tagged along, and then tagging along with her, I met this jazz artist. He's a saxophone player. His name is Eric Thomas. And so I connected with Eric Thomas. And so I started working with him. I started helping him with his craft, with his music, booking gigs, doing shows, coordinating shows, planning shows for him. And so in working with him, I noticed how it was hard to get him into, because he wasn't like a quote unquote celebrity. It was hard getting him into some of these well-known jazz or artists, as I should say, musician platforms for him to perform and for people to see him perform and hear his music. And so it was just really hard. Like I was submitting his EPKs and things like that. And so no doors were being open. And so, okay, put a pause on that story, right? So then one day I was at home, and I don't know if you've heard of, well, I'm sure everyone has heard of Coco Chanel or the brand Chanel. And the brand Chanel was started by a seamstress, fashion designer, Coco. Well, she goes by Coco Chanel. I don't know what her birth name was, but she goes by Coco Chanel. And so I was at the Netflix, I mean, not Netflix, but the Redbox, looking for a movie to watch. And so I saw this interesting movie that was about Coco Chanel. I was like, I want to hear more about her, hear more about her story, how she got started. And so I watched the movie, and there's a line in the movie. I don't remember the words verbatim, but there was a statement that was made. If there's not an opportunity for you, or if you're going for an opportunity and the opportunities are not coming for yourself, then create your own opportunity. And I was like, wow, that's some very powerful words, very powerful wisdom. And that just stuck with me. And so I went to Eric and I said, hey, how about we just create our own jazz event? Let's try to create that instead of, none of the festivals are letting you in. How about we just create our own? And so he was just like, okay, cool. So, so being that he's an artist, he performs all over Atlanta, and he was doing a gig in Norcross. And so at the time, Tixie Fowler, she was I believe her title was like a marketing events manager, something like that. And so he was just like, I need for you to meet her. And, so I was like, okay. So I came and he introduced me to Tixie Fowler. And till this day, me and her, we are still, really cool friends. And she no longer works for the city of Norcross, but that's how Jasmine Alley got started, through Tixie Fowler, because she was working for the city of Norcross. So I met with Tixie. And so I said, hey, Tixie, I have some ideas. And I said, are you open, to my ideas and having an event here in Norcross? And she was like, sure. So I was just like, okay. And so I told Eric about it. And so I went to the drawing board. So I just started, thinking of some because at that time they had, there's a street called Skin Alley. That's where Jazz in the Alley originated, in Norcross, on Skin Alley. And so I was like, ooh, they have this alley, and there are other concepts of Jazz in the Alley. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put that concept on the paper, being that they actually have an alley that was called Skin Alley. And so then I had at least 4 to 5 music, event ideas. And so I met up with her and I just presented to her my ideas, and she loved them all. And she was just like, well, let me present it to the city, to the board, and I'll get back with you and let you know. So I was like, okay, cool. So in about maybe a week or so, she came back to me and she said, the city loves your idea of Jazz in the Alley. And that was back in 2013. And we were on Skin Alley. We were really small. Maybe no more, I would say maybe around 20 to 30 people were coming out just to hear live music. And so Jazz in the Alley was created as a platform for jazz artists like Eric and other artists to perform, to showcase their talent to the community. And since then, I just gravitated and I took a hold of Jazz in the Alley, and I just grew it to what it is today. And so now we're actually across the street from Skin Alley, in this kind of like parking lot park area called the Betty Malden Park. And it has just grown astronomically. And that's how Jazz in the Alley started. And that was back in 2013. And so we are now year 2022. So that was like 9 years ago. And so now we have at least over 200 people that come out to have a great time, at Jasmine Alley. So that's pretty much how Jasmine Alley got started.
I love it. It's always great to hear the backstory. I know I've heard bits and pieces of it when I first met you, Ziggy, and seeing like how you were able to have people even believe in you even before you knew it was a concept that could actually manifest and come to realization. And so for those individuals that may be sitting on the fence, Ziggy, with certain ideas and even certain events that they may be sitting on based off of them being afraid or them being fearful of being told no 1,000 times before they have that one yes or those two yeses, just like you had your early supporters with Eric and the other young lady that you mentioned that definitely inspired you. Like, we talk about fearlessness, like how did you overcome like the initial fear of basically having your baby broadcast to the Norcross community and even being able to introduce people to a concept, like you said, it's not a new concept from having concerts in the alley, but here in Atlanta, yours is the first one that I've heard of. And so talk to us about how did you get over that fear complex of potentially failing at not getting the yeses early on before you got that yes?
Well, I would say it's a combination of my faith in God, just knowing that when one door is closed, another door will be open as long as I continue to put in the work, right? You got to put in that work, because if you don't put in the work, it's not going to happen, right? So putting in the work, staying consistent. You cannot give up. Can't give up, staying consistent, and just believing in yourself. So, I had that confidence. I believed in myself. And if I received a no, like, yeah, I'm going to be disappointed. I might feel sad. But I would take that no as, I guess you could say, to give me the motivation to keep going. It's like, okay, you said no, but there's going to be somebody that's going to say a yes, right? So just having that determination and having the faith in God that at some point a door will be open. So there's that part. The second part is having a support group, having people around you in your space, in your circle of people that support you and that encourage you, right? Trust me, there's times where I get scared, where I'm nervous, but I have people in my corner, in my circle, in my group, whether it's from my family to my friends, to people who support me and believe in me, and they encourage me. So I have a mentor, right? I will also suggest getting a mentor or that friend or that person that you can just trust, that you can talk to or confide in. And so that's what I would say. Just put in the hard work. Well, one, faith in God, believe in yourself, don't give up, and have a support group or a mentor, to someone that you can talk to and confide in, and that person can pour into you, pour into that encouragement and those words of wisdom to keep you going, to help you not to give up. So that's what I would highly recommend. And I still have that to this day. I have my support group. I have, those people that are in my corner. If I'm feeling down or discouraged about something, I talk to them. They're kind of like my psychiatrist. I vent to them, and then there's like, Z, you got this. Don't give up. I was just like, okay, I won't give up.
Right.
So
yeah, go ahead.
And then not only that, people like you, people that believe in Jasmine Alley, that enjoy Jasmine Alley. It's just people that come up to me and that believe in it, that believe in the concept, and that they support my vision of Jasmine Alley, and they support the event, and they want to, I always have people, oh, this is a great event. I love it. What can I do to help? I want to support. And that goes a long way with me, to knowing that there are people that are there rooting for me to support me, and that there are people there that want to help, and not just help me, but help the vision and the concept of Jazz in the Alley to make it bigger and to make it grow.
Yeah, no, that's a major jewel right there, Ziggy, that you are dropping for the audience today. You're dropping a ton of jewels. Is you're really not able to survive and thrive without the support of your community. And I even found out about your business through being a member at Victory Church that's off of Jimmy Carter. And then one of my previous girlfriends at the time, she had told me about that event because she lived in Lawrenceville, and I was like, "That's a cool concept," because it sounds like some like New York style, Chicago type of that you would go to and literally have a kickback in an alley. So I love the concept when you had first introduced me to it by being one of your first time JITA guests that came out, and so. Like before we go into the sponsor for today, talk to us about the importance of your community, Ziggy. Like you mentioned, your family, your friends that not just were verbally supporting you, but I'm sure were even helping you out with volunteering, with connecting you with other musicians, with basically introducing select partnerships or sponsors to you. Like talk to us about the importance of tapping into your community that you have around you for ultimate success.
It's very, very important to tap into your community because, as the saying goes, there is a no I in team, right? I can't do this all by myself. I'm only one person. So I definitely have to have the community, which is like the city of Norcross. The city of Norcross is a city sponsor of Jazz in the Alley, along with my other sponsors, which are small businesses that believe in Jazz in the Alley, and they help, they sponsor, because Jazz in the Alley, it takes, as the saying goes, it takes money. So it takes money to produce an event like Jazz in the Alley. So the community is the city of Norcross, my sponsors, which are small businesses such as Peach Street Awnings. I have When We Speak TV. When We Speak TV is they're more like my media marketing sponsor. So they do all of my great professional videos that I do. So shout out to When We Speak TV. Also, I have Elite Behavioral Medicine, and I also have Crush by Jay, and I also have McTwo Naturals. So that's pretty much, I would say, my financial community, right? So these are like my financial communities, the people that believe in Jazz in the Alley. So they financially support the event. And then not only that, then you have, I guess you could say I'm not going to say worker bees, but that's the term I'm going to use. So my worker bee community, or my volunteer community, which is like my friends, my parents. Like my parents come out to almost every show. My dad is working the event as my DJ during the intermission. He's my DJ. My mom is there whenever I need help with, setting up the tables, the tablecloths, passing out bags. I have my nieces that come out. So Jazz in the Alley is a family event too. I have my best friend, Bree, Yolanda, Liz, just my friends that will come out and help. And then I just recently started a JITA team. And so my JITA team consists of Art. She's a young, talented female. She's taken on the role as my artist hospitality, because I can't be in all different places. So she makes sure the artists are taken care of, gives them great customer service. And then I also, a part of my JITA team is also Cam. And so he helps with my vendors, setting up the area. And then, and then I have my photographer, Cedric. He just recently joined. And then When We Speak TV does the videography. So I have several people in my community that really help to make Jazz in the Alley into what it is. And then I cannot forget my other community, which are my JITA fans. So I call everyone my Jitta fans. So all the people that come out, that talk about Jazz in the Alley, that post it on social media, that just come out every year. And I have some loyal Jitta fans, Julian, some really, really loyal Jitta fans, people that come out every year, such as yourself. And so that's, that's my fan community. And as I said before, there's no I in team. It takes a community of people, of supporters to come out to make Jazz in the Alley a success. And I think if you take that concept with a business or anything that you're trying to do, you can't do it all by yourself. You have to have some type of support, whether it's financial support, volunteers, a team, just a community of people helping to bring your vision and your dream to fruition. So, yeah.
No, I love that, Queen. It's important to highlight the behind the scenes team and the community that helps, especially in working tirelessly to empower you and to also allow you not to go crazy trying to do everything. So shout out to the Jitta team, and then even to those like that. It's a family affair. Your father and your mother, with your foundation, of course, have definitely been there from the beginning and are even able-bodied to come out and help you make your dream a success and a reality. So shout out to mom and dad, Mama Dukes and your dad. But I know we definitely got to dive into, after our quick VIP sponsor commercial break, to talk about the generations of your Jitta fans that come out to the event, because I know I can give my take after you tell us, like, was that a certain part of your marketing strategy to get the generations that are your main Jitta supporters over the last few seasons, or was that something that just happened naturally or organic? But let's go ahead and highlight our VIP sponsor for today. Each and every episode, Smart Jewels, we highlight a VIP sponsor that is a business owner or a service provider that has teamed up and sponsored our season episodes, or even has been an affiliate partner with us. And so we're gonna let you all see who our VIP sponsor is for today. And I'm actually gonna get out the way so she can introduce her sponsor to you all. And so without further ado, Ziggy, can you highlight about our VIP sponsor, which is the Jazz in the Alley, today for us?
Yes, thank you, King Jules, for the highlight. So our sponsor for today is Jazz in the Alley, which is a live outdoor free concert series for all people in all ages, which takes place in downtown historic Norcross, typically from 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. So shout out to Jazz in the Alley.
Absolutely. Jazz in the Alley. Big up to Jazz in the Alley, you all. But let's take a look really quick, too, to see how you can be a potential VIP sponsor for one of our upcoming episodes. Let's take a look. So again, shout out to our VIP sponsor for today, which comes from none other than Jazz in the Alley. We have the founder, the El Presidente, the CEO, with us today, Miss Ziggy Warfield. And just like she said, you can visit them at their website, jazzinthealley.com, to support their summer jazz series here in Georgia. And so shout out again to Jazz in the Alley. But Ziggy, I know before we went to the sponsor highlight, we were talking about like the generations that you are able to have come out to your event. And literally since I've been coming, I know I've seen a lot of the older generation of baby boomers that are there, but even as I've continued to come out to certain different dates, because I know you typically do four specific dates for the summer series. Like I've started to see a ton of younger people that are even like younger than me that are diverse, especially in the Gwinnett community. That is one of the most diverse cities and counties in the actual country. So like, talk to us about like, did you specifically like target any of the generation groups, or did you just allow the word to be spread out naturally to have those Jitta fan supporters come out and see what all the hype is about to come and support you?
That's a great question. It just happened organically. I didn't target a certain specific age or sex or ethnicity. It literally just happened naturally. I would say word of mouth was very it was very popular, word of mouth, because when people would come, a lot of times people, they don't know what to expect, right? They just
Right.
they think of, oh, Jazz in the Alley, okay. And so they come out and they're just like, wow, this wasn't what I expected. And they're just in awe. And so because they enjoyed it, they have a great time. So guess what they do? They talk about it. They share it. They bring some of their friends out, and then their friends enjoyed it, and then they invite more of their friends to come out. So pretty much word of mouth. I do market on social media. I do radio as well, social media, radio. And then I partner with, like I said once before, my media sponsor, When We Speak TV. So they have their own platform as well. And then the artists, because, the artists perform, so they're going to promote it. They're going to talk about it. And then lately, I've just really tapped into social media, actually, and trying to be creative with it and learning and following the trends. Like my Jitta team, Kim and Art, they're a lot younger than me. And so they're like, Z, you need to get on TikTok. We need to do some TikTok videos, because that's like the younger generation. So I'm just like, okay, type of thing. I just go with the flow. But pretty much it is very organic. Another comment that I get is people are attracted to my energy. So I guess, energy can attract all types of people and all types of ages. So I guess, I don't know, Jewel, you tell me. So I guess that's another thing. I try to make the event fun and engaging, right? So if it's fun, if it's engaging, people are attracted to it, no matter the age or where you're from. Like there's this, I call her my Jitta dancer. She's so cute. I don't know if you remember. I don't know, Jules, last year, did you come to the show when we had Sheena Renee?
I remember coming out to that one. Mm-hmm.
Right. And there was this young girl, and I can't remember her name right now, but I call her my Jitta dancer. She's probably, I want to say between the ages of between 5 to 7. And this young girl just loves to dance. And she was just like really getting her, dance on. And Sheena, I don't know if you remember, Sheena called her up on stage, and we were just all pumping her up. And she was just like, dancing, getting her groove on.
Yeah.
And so she's like 5 to 7. And it's the music, it's the music that attracts people. As they say, music is the universal language, no matter how young or how old you are. And so she was attracted to the music. She's able to come out and be creative and have fun and enjoy yourself. And she was recently at the June 11th show. I saw her there.
Okay.
So yeah, this time she was usually she came with her mom last year, but this year she was with her mom and her dad. So
wow,
cute to see. So yeah,
yeah,
so it's happened organically. But Jules, you tell me, because you know I'm working, I don't get a chance to really experience. And you know, how do you feel? You know,
oh no, like you said, the energy piece. That's the Rasta in you, the Jamaican in you, which we'll talk about the side too of the music. But yeah, it's a lot of diversity that I've seen, especially with the last two that I've gone to. The one recently where the Senators were doing a phenomenal set. Literally had everybody up and moving by playing hits and also some of their own music that they came up with. So like it's very much so a family affair. And only thing I could really compare it to is the Atlanta Jazz Festival, which you know about, which has all different age groups, all different ethnicities that come out just to listen to the jazz artists that are performing on the main stage or even the smaller stages. But you actually have main city, literally an alley that you're taking over in downtown Norcross, and all these people from all over Metro Atlanta are coming, not just from the Gwinnett community, but even from, I've heard friends of mine that have come all the way from Blairsville to Ackworth to College Park, of course, and they're not close to the Gwinnett County area where, as you know, and they still want to come out and listen to like phenomenal jazz artists literally in that intimate space. And so that's what I wanted to pivot to, Ziggy, to talk about. Like, how did you craft that intimacy with having a jazz event in an alley where it's not like you're on a big like open park that we've seen most festivals or most concerts at, where people can like jump around and throw frisbees and have their kids run around, but that you keep it real tight and real intimate, where people are out there in their lawn chairs, they're out there with their tables, having a nice glass of wine, getting food from the vendors that are there, or bringing their food in their coolers. Like, talk to us about how did you keep it as an intimate event where it's not like a large event where you have to worry about who's around me, especially with COVID and all the other stuff that's going on. How did you keep it intimate like that originally?
Well, it's really the area. It's really the you know, downtown historic Norcross, the atmosphere. So I can't really take credit in that. It's, you know, it's really the area, that location of where Jazz in the Alley takes place, which is a great, you know, area and location and city. But when I think of jazz, or when I think of like a live outdoor jazz concert, or just a, you know, an intimate, like a live outdoor intimate space, I try to stick to that brand. And to me, it's about just coming, bringing your portable chair, bringing your cooler filled with your favorite food or drinks, or having, you know, restaurants in the area that you can walk to grab some food. So that's really the concept of Jazz in the Alley. So I try to stick to that, you know, as much as possible, because that's how it's been branded, that's how it's been marketed. And so I try to keep that same atmosphere and that same vibe flowing. So,
yeah, it definitely feels really intimate and also close knit, because it's not like you have a ton of space to spread out. And I'm just like literally in awe seeing how close people are willing to be. And that's how it should be when you're listening to some live music. Is you should be able to socialize with strangers that you may not have known, and then you leave as friends because of that intimacy. And so like that's what I wanted to pivot into, Ziggy, is to talk about like the culture that you come from, a very rich and strong culture of being Jamaican. And I think I told you I'm Trinidadian. And so in being from bloodline that stems from the islands, of course, being traced back to the motherland, like how has your culture improved or even infected the way that you handle business when it comes to cultural events or even music events like Jazz in the Alley and even other business projects that you've worked on? How has your culture enhanced those projects?
Well, one correction. I'm not Jamaican.
Oh, my fault. My fault. I thought with the name Ziggy and all of that, I couldn't remember when we first talked.
I was like, where did he get that idea from?
Yeah, my fault with that. But where's your family from then? By the way,
up north. So
both
of my parents. My dad is from Chicago, south side of Chicago, and then my mom is from New York. She's from the Bronx. So, so I guess I just have that. Even though I'm born here in the South, the country, you know, as some people would say, I think my family is more rooted in the city from my parents.
Okay.
So, but I would say, how does culture play a part, you know, in it? I'll have to say just my parents, you know, how they raised me to be hardworking, to put my best foot forward, give it 100% in everything that I do. And I think a lot of it had to do with that they exposed me to culture. You know, you have to be exposed to it in order to be appreciative of your culture and other people's culture, right? So I just say, you know, expose yourself to something different. You know, you don't always have to just be collard greens, mac and cheese, soul food, or listening to rap, you know, hip hop, or, you know, expose yourself to other things. The world is just filled with great opportunities in culture. So, and then I think that's another thing with me. I love culture in general. I love learning about different cultures. Like, I love the Latin culture. I love to get my Latin dance on and the food. So I think just being open to different experiences and to different cultures. And that's one of the things that I hone in about Jasmine Alley. I try to create an experience, right? A jitta experience, because you're going to forever remember that experience. So I try to create an experience where it's fun, safe, where people can learn, not just hear jazz and have a great time, but learn about jazz too. Because jazz is not just straight ahead jazz. It's not just smooth jazz. You have all types of genre of jazz. And I try to do that. I try to educate people about jazz in general. So that's why when I choose artists, I try to choose different styles of artists, or different types of artists, I should say, that that perform different genres of jazz. Like 1 year I had a Latin jazz band. 1 year I had Afro jazz band. So I try to let people know that jazz is not just in one straight lane. You know, jazz can be, there's all types of styles of jazz. So I think it's just very important when it comes to culture that you not only learn your own culture, but you make yourself open to learn about other types of culture as well. And that'll make you more of a cultured, diverse person, which will allow you to be able to connect, you know, with other type of people.
Yeah, no, you're right on point with that, Ziggy. And I know you definitely do an awesome job in infusing different types of cultural jazz icons that are, as you said, Latin, Afro beats that even are put into jazz music, all the way down to traditional jazz. And so, like, I definitely thought with the name Ziggy that you were Jamaican. So I'm glad you cleared that up, because I was like, most of the Ziggies I know are named after Ziggy's out. So how did your, let's start with that.
I knew you were gonna ask that question.
How did you get the name, the infamous name Ziggy?
Well, Ziggy is actually a nickname. That's not what my mom called.
That's not the government. That's not the government name.
That's not my government name. Ziggy, I guess you could say, is like my nickname, artist name.
Got you.
But my real name, and I'm putting myself out there, My real name is Zakia, which is
Okay.
African Swahili. And so people have a hard time in pronouncing my name, or they don't pronounce it right. So people just automatically give me a nickname. So I've been called Z, Ziggy, Zigzag, like anything you could think of. People just give me give me a nickname.
Right.
And so actually Ziggy was given to me in high school.
Wow.
Because it was like my 12th grade year of high school. I went natural before natural became like a big thing. And so I was wearing my hair natural, and I was wearing my hair in these 2-strand twists, and a classmate, she just called me Ziggy. I can't tell you why she started calling me Ziggy. She just called me Ziggy, and I liked it, and it stuck with me. And then when I went to college, Georgia Southern University, I had to plug that in there. So when I went to college, that's how I would introduce myself, Ziggy. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just start using my real name, because that's the name that my mom named me. Yeah. And so I would, when me and my friends would hang out and I would introduce myself, it was like, no, just call her Ziggy, So it has stuck with me, and so that's what I go by. Ziggy.
I love it. I love Zakia too. I know a couple Zakias. Is definitely a pretty name too. But Ziggy, I was like, when I first met you, I thought you were for sure Jamaican. All the Jamaicans I know have it as a middle name, a first name. Some even have it as you said, a nickname like you use. So shout out to all the Jamaicans. And
well, I think it might be. I think Jamaican roots might be somewhere in my bloodline, because I love the Jamaican culture.
Oh wow!
I love Jamaican food. That's like one of my favorite foods I like to eat. I love the cuisine.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to the West Indians and the West Indies. But I know for sure, before we let you get out of here, Ziggy, we definitely wanted to have you inspire someone who may be an event planner or an event organizer or an event curator, as especially those who are more cultural event creators. How can someone get started, Ziggy, if they wanted to get into doing an event of your magnitude, especially in getting involved in the city and getting involved in their local community to host a festival or an event like Jazz in the Alley? Like, how should someone go into doing the steps to make that happen? And you don't have to give all the jewels, but just practical steps of someone that's looking to mimic or to follow in your footsteps. How should one go about getting involved in their local city with cultural events?
I would say, definitely do your research of the events that are in your area or in your city. But if you're wanting to, have your own event or produce your own event, I would always say start with your research. Google, educate yourself of some of the things that you need to do and your tools that you need to create an event. And I would also say volunteer or shadow someone that actually does that, right? You can learn from them. And then not only that, that's how you gain experience. And then you take that knowledge and that experience and you go for it. You do it yourself. And you write down your plan, your ideas that you want to do, and just do it. And when you do it, give it not 100%, but 110%.
I love that, especially when it comes to being all the way in instead of one toe in and also 1 foot in, but being all the way in, like Ziggy said, regardless of what people are doing. And so I know, Ziggy, you talked about how you got a love for jazz at an early age. You talked about how you came up with the concept of Jazz in the Alley, and you've even introduced us to how you partner with your community to have local businesses and also local vendors be a part of your event. Like, what would be a final jewel as we wind down shortly that, Ziggy, you would want to leave with the audience when it comes to the Jazz in the Alley series, or even motivating someone to start their own potential project like Jazz in the Alley?
That's a good question, King Jules. Let's see, where do I want to start? I guess the last thing that I want to say about Jazz in the Alley is, if you've never been to Jazz in the Alley, please come on out. It is free. Please come on out so you can have a great time and enjoy some live, great entertainment. On top of that, I would say a jewel that I would drop, I guess you could say, is to be consistent. And whatever you do, be consistent and don't give up. Those would be the two jewels that I would drop, that I tell myself every day: consistent, and don't give up. Don't give up at all. If you hear two no's, keep going, and just know that you will eventually get a yes. So don't give up and stay consistent.
I love those. Those are both very, very key jewels when it comes to being consistent. I know I've been tracking Ziggy and others that we've had on the show that are really consistent gurus at being consistent each and every year, having their marketing down pat, which y'all do a phenomenal job too, Ziggy, in marketing your events in advance so that people are able to know the dates that are coming up in the summer series. And so you're dropping a ton of jewels on consistency. Is vital for any entrepreneur or any type of curator or creator. And so,
yeah, because this makes year 9.
Wow.
Year 9, it's literally just started growing maybe like 2 years ago. I started this back in 2013. We're in the year 2022. So that's why being consistent and put in the work and the time. And when I say put in the work and the time, don't do it halfway. You know, give it your all. Make sure, to me, your image is everything, right? So you want to make sure you're putting your best self out there, whether if it's you or your product. You know, so you want to give it your all. You want to put your best foot forward, and don't give up and stay consistent. It's taken 9 years to get Jazz in the Alley to where it's at. And just imagine if I would have stopped at year 5, right?
Wow.
It was like, I don't want to do this no more. It's not growing. Just imagine if I would have stopped at year 5, I wouldn't even know what it could be now, right? And it's just now really starting to take off. So that's why it's so important that you don't give up and stay consistent.
Yeah, that's a major jewel right there, Queen. Like, how's Ziggy, before we say a special blessing over you, like, how can people stay in touch with you personally, or even with the brand of Jazz in the Alley? Let people know how they can still stay connected with you after today.
You can stay connected with me on Facebook or Instagram, and my social media is at Jazz in the Alley. That's the @ Jazz in the Alley. Or you can go to my website, which is www.jazzinthealley.com. And you can send me a DM, send me an email, leave a comment. I will respond. I'm the person that responds, so you actually will hear from me.
I love it. And y'all go in for sure, support if you're in the ATL area. What are the upcoming dates too, Ziggy, for the rest of the summer?
Yeah, sure. So the next dates that we have coming up is July 16th. We have Chaz Shepard. So we have 2 artists in one night. So we have Chaz Shepard and saxophonist Dexter Tolson. Then on August 13th, we have another 2 artists in one show. We have Cleveland P. Jones and Michael Cruz. And then we end the season on September 17th with Funk Yard X.
I love it. So if you're in the ATL area, especially, Gwinnett County is where the series takes place. Go out and support. I know you will enjoy it. It's not like those stuffy outdoor concert series or events where people are just down. Exactly. People are out dancing. They're out enjoying life and out having a good time and catching a good vibe, as all of us like to do in the summertime. So go out and support Ziggy and her team of Jitta fans at Jazz in the Alley on her social, or go and visit her website at thejazzinthealley.com. Ziggy, it's been a pleasure serving with you today, Queen. I know we always say a special blessing and a special thanks for our guests coming on and sharing their jewels of wisdom. And so if anyone is been blessed by today's episode, before we say that blessing over Ziggy, feel free to partner with us by sowing a seed. This is good soil that you're sowing into for our international podcast. You can sow two ways: by Cash Apping us at $SmartJewelz, or you can partner with us as a monthly Patreon Smart Jewel listener or Smart Jewel supporter with us too. So shout out to all of the names you see at the bottom on the ticker that have partnered with us this season as a sponsor, as a donor, or even as an affiliate partner. We could not have made this season a success without you. But Ziggy, I'm gonna say a quick prayer over you, Queen, and then let you enjoy the rest of your day. Father God, I just want to thank you for Ziggy and also the calling that you have placed on this Queen's life. We thank you for what you are doing in and also through her in order to bridge community and also to bridge the community gaps of being able to bring together people each and every year for just a monumental event for people to live and to also listen to music and to be just engaged in a tremendous atmosphere that she is building up with her team, and also with partnerships. We pray that you will grant her new partnerships, new doors, new monetization strategies for her to see the fruit of all of her labor as she goes into her next season. Father, may you open up new doors and new possibilities more than what she's ever imagined. And thank you for allowing her to share her voice and also to share her story with us today. I love you, Father. I praise you and I honor you. And it's in Yeshua HaMashiach, the Christ's name, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
We appreciate you, Ziggy. Definitely we'll have to have you come back on a part 2 and shout out to Jasmine Alley. Thank you so much, Ziggy.
Yes. Thank you so much, King Jules, for this opportunity, and definitely much support and blessings to you and your platform as well. And I would love to support in any way that I can. And I'm going to make it known that I will be a sponsor for you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Queen. I know we'll be in touch, and I'll try to be out at the August event. I know I'll be out of town for the next 2, but shout out to Jazz in the Alley, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Sounds good. Peace. Bye.
All right, y'all. Hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. Go and support Jazz in the Alley. We'll see you next week.